All right, so you heard Spike Lee there. Mm-hmm. He's talking about Donald Trump. He doesn't like to say his name, but talking about how he feels that he believes that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. You said something the other day, Charlamagne, that wasn't saying you don't think Trump can win, wasn't saying you don't think any of that. It was you don't think Trump wants to be president anymore. I just want to play it. Mm-hmm. Here it is.
He does not want to be the Republican nominee no more. He is hoping that Republicans do him the way the Democrats did Biden. He wants to be put out of his misery. You can hear it in his voice.
You believe that?
100%. I think, what Nikki Haley said when she said the first party to get rid of their 80-year-old candidate was going to win this election. I think that's going to come to be true. And I think that, he's just over it. I mean, the guy did just get shot at, a month ago? And I think there's some PTSD involved. I think everything that you're seeing right now from Donald Trump is just a response to trauma. He's just staying busy because he absolutely has nothing else to do. Or maybe it's just his ego saying, hey, I need to continue to run because I want to stay out of jail. But yes. I don't think he wants to be the nominee in any way, shape, or form.
Do you think that too? And do you think it goes back to that moment when he was shot at?
I don't think that part. I do think that he is running to stay out of jail. I think the Trump family saw quite a boost, even economically, from his presidency. And I think Donald Trump would do anything to stay out of jail. He has a bunch of folks who follow him. He won at least the Electoral College in 2016. And I think that's what this is about. I think that he has a huge ego and it gets in his own way.
At some point, you got to say enough is enough, though, right? At some point, it's not worth it. You got all of these criminal charges. You're getting shot at. I don't see no enthusiasm from him when he's on the trail. The joke's not even hitting no more. He's never been a big policy person. I don't think he wants to be out here no more.
So, what are these people talking about? First of all, what hole did Angela Rye crawl out of with her trash ass podcast? I don't even know how these people's podcasts are surviving. I don't know what hole she crawled out of, but listen. What you see happening right now is they reaching for straws. Anything that they can come up with is what they're going to try to do. They have nothing left to stand on. They know that her economic policy, Kamala Harris in particular, her economic policy is trash. They know that it's only so much twerking and paid for play, Spike Lee's and Charlamagne's and all of these things, and people are starting to get turned off for it. And now that we're about, a little less than 80 days or something like that away, and now that we've seen all of the heaviest hitters and all that they did was throw ad hominem attacks, the thing about Trump is that the reason why he ran again in 2020 or 2019 for 2020 is because he actually wanted best for this country. The beautiful thing about his presidency, and this is the thing that they keep trying to run away from, and nobody talks about it. If you ask any of these people what was happening in 2016 through 2020, they don't want to talk about it because they actually benefited and thrived as a result of it. And they keep deflecting away from the truth because they don't want to have the authentic conversation. What is this woman doing that actually helps you to become a better person? Why does she leave the borders open? Why were people suffering so much after Donald Trump when y'all was in the White House for the last 3.5 years? And how would it be any different considering that you basically having the same things, except you added some additional economic policies that was absolutely garbage that we all know is going to raise inflation, go against everything that we stand for as far as a capitalistic country, and so on and so forth. And so what they then do is they start to reach for straws. Man, listen, bro, it's the first person to get their first 80. Stop it, bro. I'll take Donald Trump over Kamala Harris any day of the week, especially considering what we can lean on as far as the results of what their political career look like. And I don't even like career politicians. I'm not a fan of career politicians. I liked the fact that Donald Trump actually started to get done, especially with regard to war on China. We had and I'm talking about the tariff war, but we had no new wars. Now we in wars all day long, and they negotiate and continuing to fund these wars against funding closing off our borders, and they sued Texas in order to make sure that they opened it up to let more migrants into the country. So these people just be talking, bro. They are part of the establishment. They are part of the get along gang. I don't know. I can't say for certain, but it seems as though they're getting paid to continue to troll us. And we all know that people, the rich people, benefit as a result of democratic policies that ultimately keep and separate y'all and continue to have a class war. When you lose your home, who you think is there to buy it? When you get your car repossessed, who you think get his home pennies on the dollar? And we get to buy the debt, and we get to go and chase after you and garnish your wages at the end of the day. Who you think benefits from it? These people continue to sit here and posture, and they just talking. Let me see if they got anything else to add into this conversation.
But I mean, I guess, and you're talking traumatic on a traumatic basis, psychological basis. But Charlamagne, what about the jail issue? I mean, if he loses, never mind pardons and whether Biden pardons him the way out. I mean, just say all that actually happens. You still have state charges that could result in a really long time in jail. That are
I don't think we'll ever see Donald Trump in a jail
Called
cell.
election
He's a white man in America who was a former president. There's a different level of privilege with that. I don't think jail is actually an issue. I don't think we'll ever see Donald Trump in a jail
Michelle
cell.
Obama talked about that. That's the real affirmative action, the kind that lets you fail forward.
Absolutely.
So she did talk
We've
about
never even seen him in handcuffs.
That's
With
what
all
she
those
got?
criminal charges, we've never seen him in handcuffs.
Just
One
a
mugshot.
mugshot.
Like,
That's it.
no. Like, I know people say that, like, oh, he's running because he wants to stay out of prison. Donald Trump is not going to prison. So I'm sticking to what I'm saying. I don't think Donald Trump wants to be, I don't think he wants to be running for president right now at all.
Definitely hasn't been sentenced yet.
Okay, you mentioned Michelle Obama and what she said. Now she talked about, he had said,
Michelle
talked about
Obama.
black jobs, right?
Love that.
At the convention a couple weeks ago.
So they all enamored with jokes. It's jokes that they care about.
So she made a comment about that last night, which was very well received
So
in the room
good.
that we're sitting in here. Now let me just play her.
Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
The best was the face after, because we know what that means.
We know.
And yeah, I think
We all
that
a
the
part of the
reality of it
sister
is this
code.
has been a black job only once before, and it's about to be a black job again. And the reality of it is, if Donald Trump was anybody else, even in the Republican Party, he would not be where he was.
Round of applause to Michelle Obama, too. Fantastic.
We didn't even think that Donald Trump was going. A lot of people literally wrote him off when he wound up winning in 2016. But now, if it was anybody else, the memory and the switch up is so wild to me. And Michelle Obama, for all of the extra and all of the jokes, at the end of the day, nobody could stand up and actually say what they would actually do or what Kamala Harris would do for this country. So much so to where it seemed like everybody that was stopping for Kamala Harris or did their speech and a speech was written for them, it didn't even seem like they really wanted to endorse her. The Obamas was the last people to endorse her, as a matter of fact. And what they did say was, we need to let the democratic process take place and see what other nominees was. And then they forced them to go ahead and endorse them with this fake AI phone call that they got. Come on, man. Wake up.
Speech, the audacity of President Obama to go after her. He should have been
agree with
opening
that.
for Michelle Obama.
I
last
agree
night.
with that.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right, so can I ask you about RFK Jr.? I don't know if you just heard this,
Anyways, we all know that RFK Jr. is probably, well, you know what? I want to see what else they got to say.
but we've just confirmed that he is going to get out on Friday, and that there's a discussion as to whether he will at that time formally endorse Trump.
Oh my
All right, so
God.
when you look at this, does that make a
Now they
difference?
feeling disappointed.
Given, you've talked to every single one of these folks.
No, I mean, listen, I think that there is going to be a time in this country where there are third-party candidates who can have real impact. But when you say
Never.
RFK Jr. got out, I mean, was he ever really in? Come on, we know it's a two-party system in this country.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be a Democrat. You know it's going to be a Republican. Somebody like RFK Jr. never really had a
No.
chance.
He
So
may
I'm-
not have had a chance, but he had some numbers. And I know there were questions, Angela, does it go Democrat? Does it go Republican? Do you think, and obviously endorsements
cut
are what
Charlamagne
they
off.
are, doesn't mean people are going to go along with it.
Yeah.
But does it help Trump if RFK Jr. does give that
She's going to
endorsement?
say no matter
I
what.
think the only person that RFK Jr. is interested in helping is himself. He's shopping for cabinet positions. He says these crazy things. He's got these crazy conspiracies. He's been trying to land a plane on some type of virality for some time. It's not working.
Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Again, I don't know where she crawled out of. She just been MIA, and maybe y'all been checking for her, but I haven't seen anything from her whatsoever until election season. Then Charlamagne starts standing next to her. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.